My name's Emil. I'm a digital strategist. I answer marketing questions. This is episode 36, and this is about tracking, setting up server-side tracking for smaller clients. There's a significant upfront cost to do so. So how do we handle this? This question is from a private Facebook group, and I like it because I faced this exact same problem not too long ago, and I had to rethink how I onboard some clients. I'm not going to go through it all here, but they work for an agency that covers small and large clients, and server-side is the gold standard of tracking, and they really rely on those results. How do we justify the cost of setting up a smaller client on server side? In this video, what I'm going to color is smaller clients and best practices, just what we should do. How much data do we really need to collect for a smaller client? And then all about eating a whale, because that's what this problem is. It's a whale-sized problem. But first, every Sunday, I send out one email that recaps all the marketing questions I answered that week. If you want to stay up to date on best practices, strategies, and become an overall stronger marketer, I think you would really enjoy this recap. It would mean the world to me if you could subscribe to the newsletter and my YouTube channel. Now, back to the answer. Being in an agency that has different size clients is an amazing experience. There's a lot of pros to it, right? Of course, there's the obvious cons, but there's a lot of pros to it too. So dealing with different size clients gives you a lot of tools that if you only dealt with one type of client, whether it's small client, medium client, or large client, you're not learning how to escalate a client through those stages. You're not learning how to solve problems at different levels. So I think having an agency like that is awesome. Like you said, you like it, but it does pose some problems. I believe it's a blessing and a curse. I came to terms with this not too long ago, and I'm just going to pass on how I came to terms with it, and it's been doing really well for me. So we're looking at setting up a client on server-side tracking because it is a best practice, and you're just going to get better data out of it, of course. But what if a smaller client needed a app built, a custom app built? What would you tell them? Would you tell them that you can do it within the same price range, or is that going to overextend the client? Or what if the client needed a really high production video? Or what if the client needed the ability to give away their product for the first 90 days? All of these issues that come to you as a marketer, you have to solve with the client. And in this situation, it's a resources game. If a small client has a resource issue, we have to address it as such. You either charge extra for it and talk to them through it, or you start having a conversation about the needs. Server side is just more reliable. Is it worth the added cost for a smaller client that has other things they need to solve, like audience definition, multi-platform resolution, being on multiple platforms profitably, content and tone creation? Like, there's a lot of things that need to be done. How critical is server side in this situation? It's just like anything else. It's a good best practice, but maybe you're not in a position to be there yet. And there's an entire privacy first marketing initiative, which I absolutely love, that doesn't require any data at all. And other than what pages people are visiting, and it totally hashes everything out, and whether somebody converts or not, but not where they came from. You can't retarget them, and these businesses are doing 6, 7, 8, even 9 figures. And so there's Fathom Analytics, for example. That is an absolutely great company that strips all of the data, identifying data away. So, but you can't retarget, you can't build custom audience lists. There's so many things that it removes. But by removing all of that in the best practices, you actually see more visitors on your site, because people with ad blockers and privacy first internet users are actually hidden from you if you're using Google Analytics. So there is trade-offs at every stage of the level. I look at anything that requires a smaller client to pony up extra money for infrastructure as a trade-off. Is it worth it to them or not? What kind of data are we going to get, and what kind of data are we going to lose? And primarily, it's a how do you eat the whale situation. If we're looking at all these problems a small business has, server-side tracking is just one of the many components. They could be underfunded. They could have a lack of resources for content. They could have lack of resources for talent, so that their product isn't where they want it to be yet. So there's so many elements. We need to eat the whale one piece at a time, solve one critical issue to the next one. And what I tell my clients is, if we're going to do server-side, or we're going to do any high-cost infrastructure, it's going to be on your dime, but let's roadmap it and let's do a pro con weigh off. And my benefit of it's my wife and I that run this company, and we get to call our customers directly and have this discussion. But there are trade offs, and we put them on our roadmap. If we want really great content, they can't afford it now. Well, let's hit some other notes before we get to that content. Oh, that's obviously one of the things I would push for really heavy up front. If it makes sense for your client to go there, just tell them the reasons why they need it and tell them we need to charge you more for it. And it may be a boon to their business for doing so, but I rarely think so. I think smaller clients don't need as much data capture and they don't need that much infrastructure. They've got a lot of other things to validate. That's how I came to it. I hope that answer helped. It's how I've been handling it, and it's been across my desk multiple times. If this did add any value or simplify the problem, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe below. And as always, good luck and happy marketing.